Just where are we going, Uncle Mike?
We are going on an adventure. We are taking a trip to Hawaii.
I really love adventures, especially sea adventures. Is Dad coming with us?
No, Scott, not right now. He is very busy with his work. I flew in from London just to help him, but he promised to meet us there when his work is done. But now, we need to change into those coveralls hanging on the wall, over there. This is a Navy ship, and civilian clothes are not allowed when we set out to sea. When we get on the ship, the doctors will be giving us a few shots. But don't worry. They are just like the vaccinations shots you get at school.
Will we get new clothes when we get to Hawaii?
Of course we will. New clothes just like the ones the Hawaiians wear. But we need to change now, Scott. But don't worry. When we get there, you will get everything that you want, everything that you will need. God will see to that.
Well, young man, how was your trip? Bet you're dang glad to get out of those coveralls. Walk on in, settle yourself down. You are our first arrivals.
Hey bird girl, do you want some breadcrumbs? Get off that thing, and come on over here.
No thank you.
I know, you like worms better. You want me to dig some worms up for you?
No, thank you.
How about some small lizards? Birds just love tiny, little lizards.
Why don't you leave me alone? All the other boys behind the fence leave me alone. So, why don't you just leave me alone too?
I like feeding birds. None of the other boys do. But I do.
I think you just like me. That's why you won't leave me alone.
I don't like you.
Yes you do.
No I don't.
Yes you do.
No I don't. I like little birds. Not you.
Why don't you just go away?
Because I live here. That's why.
I am not a bird. I am one of God's children.
You're a bird. Thing. A bird girl.
I am not. I am one of God's children.
God didn't make bird girls. He made man in his image, not bird girls. You are a freak, 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 freak. A bird girl. Freak.
I am one of God's children. God loves me. Like he loves all of his children.
Why don't you just leave and go somewhere else before I come over there and peck your eyes out? Someday, I will get you all alone. On this side of the fence.
They say when you grow up, you eat people. Like vultures. Some of you even grow wings. That's what they say.
Do you know who else has wings, my son? Angels. Run along now. You're all God's children. And someday you will have wings, and you will sit next to the throne of the Father.
We found a fireplace poker right here. But most of the carnage happened in the basement, and, curiously, we found a dead bird on the roof.
And just why is that significant?
The bird had an 8-foot wingspan.
8 feet? Where is it now?
We called animal control, who said that they would contact the zoo, and any animal refugee and research organizations in the area. I suppose they asked them if they were missing a very large bird. Someone came over later and picked it up, but I wasn't here at the time.
Well, when you find out who that was, contact me at my office. You will do that for me, officer.
Yes, I will. And who exactly are you? You're with the FBI, I gather.
I'm Agent Tom Jeffers. The chief of the San Francisco Police Department called us in on this. Apparently, the 2 missing persons that Detective Klotsky and Johnson were investigating were from out of state, which makes this federal.
So, the chief was asking for help.
Apparently.
Well, I don't blame him.
This is where we found Detective Klotsky, right here on the floor. We found Detective Johnson over there on the metal table. Klotsky had a flashlight stuck in his forehead in place of what used to be his braids. There were assorted pieces of stripped human carcasses hanging from the meat hooks near the back wall. None have been identified. There were no identifiable fingerprints on the flashlight or the table. However, we did get a fairly fresh set of prints from the first floor bathroom, and we found a photo of a young woman on the floor. Who she is, we do not know. I'll send the crime scene photos and any other evidence over to your office. There were also a small number of unused cardboard boxes, similar to the ones we found in the upstairs storage room.
Did you find anything interesting up there?
Yes, we did. A couple of photo albums, boxes full of standard household items, women's clothing in the closet, and a small green duffel bag belonging to a male, possibly a recent veteran. I have a team analyzing all of those items right at this very moment.
Let me know as soon as anything important turns up. And detective, everything is important.
I will be happy to send you anything and everything that we got. Tell me, Agent Jeffers, have you ever witnessed anything like this before, at a crime scene, or anywhere else?
No, I have not.
Something monstrously ungodly took place here.
Yes, it did.
One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You'll spread your wings, and then you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing that can harm you. With daddy and mommy standing by. Oh, summertime, and the living is easy. WJ Detective Agency.
You know who this is, don't you, Detective Jackson?
Of course I do. How are you today, Mr. Beckman? I was just getting my investigative notes together to give you.
Detective Jackson, I just got a call from the San Francisco Police Department who stated that they have found a duffel bag, apparently belonging to my son, at a murder crime scene. What do you know about this?
Well, nothing, Mr. Beckman. But let me make some calls and...
The house is located at the corner of Baker and Prentice Streets in San Francisco. Do you know anything about this house?
No, Mr. Beckman. I never came across that address in my investigations.
Detective Jackson, do you honestly know anything? About anything?
Well,
Detective Jackson, first of all, I will stop addressing you as a detective. You are certainly no detective, not by any standards in the civilized world. Second, my lawyers will contact you first thing tomorrow. I smell fraud here. So, be sure you are ready to account for all your activities over the past few weeks and for all of your billings and expenses regarding my son's case. I do not like to be swindled, Mr. Jackson. My lawyers will call you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Mr. Beckman? Mr. Beckman. No good deed goes unpunished.
Sally, we are going to the chapel for prayer. Why don't you join us?
Well, okay.
You know, that girl whose job you took over? You know, what's her name?
Yeah, you mean Carolyn Jennings.
That's right. She used to come in here a lot, to pray.
She did. Huh?
Yes. All the time. Every day, in fact. I saw her.
Wow.
Sally, how well did you know Caroline? Sally.
Huh?
How well did you know Caroline Jennings?
Not very well, at all. Hey, I got to go. Duty calls.
Emily, it may not seem that way to you now, but you will be safe here. You'll be just another student. Angela will find you a room at one of the sorority houses, and every few weeks she will move you to someplace new. Don't use that name, Emily or Caroline, while you are here, ever. You are now Judy Anderson. You will be hiding in plain sight now. If something happens, find me. Angela will give you my schedule. She'll also give you money every week, and if you need more money, there's a bank account of over $1 million with your and my names on it. I have all your old IDs under the name of Emily Clinkenbeard in my possession. Angela will tell you where you can find them. If you have any kind of emergency, come and see me, or use the bank accounts if you have to. Remember, I will always be here for you. I plan to protect you, even if you are not around.
Yes, Father. I know that you will always be here for me, and I will always be here for you.
I am so happy to have you back. The aching in my heart is finally gone. I have my daughter back, my real flesh and blood daughter. Find yourself some good books to read, walk around the campus, sit in on lectures, visit the cafeteria and the Women's Athletics Center. This is your new home now, Judy Anderson. May I speak with Detective Woodrow Jackson, please?
Speaking.
Detective Jackson, my name is Thomas Jeffers. I'm an agent for the FBI. I am personally working on a murder crime case in conjunction with the San Francisco Police Department. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I will get right to the point. A duffel bag belonging to a Vietnam veteran named Rudolph Beckman was discovered in a bedroom on the second floor of the house where these murders took place. A quick investigation revealed that your agency was hired by Rudolph Beckman's father to find his son, who had been reported missing last winter.
That's right. I was hired just a few weeks ago, Agent Jeffers.
So is there anything important that you found in your investigation of Rudolph Beckman that might be related to these murders, or in any way helpful to us?
Is Rudy dead?
Well, Mr. Jackson, we have no conclusive evidence that Rudy is dead. But his presence there at one time in the past is something that we must follow up on. Do you have anything that can help us, Detective?
No, I really didn't find out much of anything. Like I said, I was only on the case for a short time. How did you find Mr. Beckman? He had no contact with Rudy since the Army.
Well, Detective Jackson, Rudy's name was on the tag inside the duffel bag.
I see. So that led to Beckman and then to me. Well, Agent Jeffers, I really don't have any information to give to you. Rudy's disappearance is just as much a mystery now as it was when Mr. Beckman first called. I just don't have much of anything.
Mr. Beckman said you were recommended to him by San Francisco Detective Michael Kolotsky. Did you know Detective Kolotsky?
Yeah, me and Kolotsky go way back.
Mr. Jackson, Detective Kolotsky was one of the victims in this crime. He was murdered.
Oh my God.
Along with Detective Arnold Johnson.
Oh no.
Are you sure you don't have any information about Rudolph Beckman or Detective Kolotsky and Johnson that might help us?
I really can't think of anything right now. Look, Agent Jeffers, I'm in shock at the moment, and I'm feeling real sick. Can we continue this conversation at a later time? I need to lie down.
Certainly, Detective Jackson. I understand. Get yourself together, think over what you know, and I'll talk to you again later. Goodbye for now, Detective.
Talk to me later. That isn't what I need to hear.
The great shadow of God is made of light. Light is the symbol of truth, of wisdom, of justice, of goodness, and of love. You should render thanks to God for having produced this light, which is the smile of heaven and the joy of the world, spreading like a cloth of gold over the air and the face of the earth, and lighting it as a torch by which we behold his works. Walk in this light, and you will see the path that shall lead you to God's power, to his truth, to his holiness, to his wisdom, to his justice, to his love. When you embrace the light, you embrace all that is God. You are the sons and daughters of God, and the light shall reveal that truth to you. Embrace the light and embrace the infinite love he has for you and all of his children. Well, that concludes my sermon for this Sunday. Remember, there is much for us to do. Enjoy the sunset, the fresh fallen rain, the gentle movement of the trees, the calmness of the water. Our adventures and our journeys have only begun.
That was such a wonderful sermon, Father. I feel so great about myself today.
Why, thank you, Annabelle. How did I do today, Uncle?
You did fine, Scott.
Bannerman, this is FBI Agent Thomas Jeffers.
Yes, Detective Jeffers.
I'm calling to let you know that I've sent those prints that you found in the downstairs bathroom off to our office in Washington, D.C. I've instructed the office to look for matches in Vietnam-era Marines and Army female enlistees. This should narrow the print search time down significantly, especially since the list of Vietnam Army nurse enlistees is relatively small.
Yes.
All military inductees are fingerprinted, so we don't have the sloppiness that we occasionally find with some of these things.
So how soon do you expect to hear back from them?
Well, if by some stroke of luck the prints in the bathroom were from an Army nurse who just happened to put that album together, then we could find a match very quickly, possibly within a few hours.
Well, let's cross our fingers.
One other question, Detective Bannerman. Just how was this crime scene discovered by the San Francisco PD?
We got an anonymous phone call.
Well then, someone knew about it, and this someone doesn't want to be identified or found.
That's the way it looks.
Thank you, Detective. It will be difficult to follow in your footsteps, Uncle Michael. You have been here from the beginning. The people know you. They have learned from you. They trust you. But Uncle Michael, you know I have questions.
I know. You have always had questions. and issues. But, as I have always counseled you, God governs the world, and we only have to do our duty wisely, and leave the issues to Him. Do not let your own need for journeys and adventures, or your temptations, divert you from your duty.
Why hasn't my father, your brother, ever contacted us? I think I understand why he would not want to travel to this spot. His work, his commitments perhaps, maybe his reputation would be put in jeopardy. And of course, his visit would result in turning us into a circus freak show if it became public. I'm aware of all that. But why has he never tried to contact us by letter or courier? It's been years now. I barely remember what he looks like. Annabella has never met her grandfather. She has never seen a picture of him. And I know you are aware of the rumor that he is really one of us, not just a creator, but one of us, and that he even possesses the ability to transform himself at will from them to us.
Well, nephew, I have never revealed this to you, but perhaps it is now time. Your father does not know that we are here. He never learned of this place.
What?
He never knew of the full extent of his work. He knew of me, and he knew of you. But he was told that we had died. And you had a sister, but she disappeared.
I have a sister? Well, my father must be contacted. He must be made aware that his blood and his offspring and his family are alive and well. This sort of separation is not natural. It is against God's will. By enforcing this separation, someone has put his own will above the will of God. It is a betrayal of the highest order. It is evil. But I do not fault you, Uncle. I know that you and everyone here are forced to obey the orders of Commander Brinkley. This is obviously his doing. He is capable of inflicting much pain upon us if he wished, and I know that you as well as I do not want this pain inflicted upon our children. So I understand your position and your reticence, but we must find a way to contact my father. It is our duty. It is our duty to my father and to our God. Good afternoon, nurse. I am FBI Agent Thomas Jeffers.
Yes, Agent Jeffers. Your office contacted us, and I have been anticipating your visit.
As part of an ongoing investigation, the FBI needs a copy of the personal records of one of your former nurses. Her name is Caroline Jennings.
I'm sorry, but Caroline Jennings' records have been sealed on orders of the Department of Defense. I will need a written authorization from the Department of Defense that has been signed by the hospital administrator.
The Department of Defense?
I know. It sounds very strange. You know, you are the second person to ask me about her. Someone was here recently, specifically asking for the personnel records of Caroline Jennings.
Is that right? Do you remember the name?
I certainly do. His name was Vernon Klinkenbeard. Professor Vernon J. Klinkenbeard, from the University of California at Berkeley. Do you know him?
No, I do not, but I will certainly find out who it is. I have another request, nurse. I know that by law, all hospital employees in the state of California are fingerprinted upon hiring. The FBI is requesting a copy of the fingerprints of all your employees. No, wait a minute. All of your nurses, past and present, over, say, the last 2 years?
That I can do for you, Agent Jeffers. Just give me a few minutes.
What are you doing there, Annabella?
I'm looking at the light on this plant. You know, if I move my head, the color of the leaf changes. Now it looks sort of dark green. If I move a little this way, it starts to look more blue. And sometimes when I look at it, because of the water, it looks almost white.
White, like an angel?
Angels don't have to be white, Dad.
Well, Uncle Mike, come on in. Have a seat. I haven't talked to you for a while. What brings you here? You can wait outside so I can see it. Well, what's on your mind, Uncle Mike?
It's about my nephew, Scott. I think he is becoming a threat.
How so?
He is making demands that I help him try to make contact with his father. I'm certain that he is making plans right now.
I see. And what did you say to him?
I told him that God governs the world, and it is his duty to let God deal with these issues.
And what did he say to that?
He said that the forced separation of a parent and their offspring is unnatural and not the will of God. And it was his divine duty to God and his father to locate him. He also referred to his father as the creator. Scott is very much like his father, you know. He can be very headstrong and driven when he puts his mind to some big idea or notion.
Well, I agree with you there. You know, this place wouldn't last a month if Professor Clinkenbeard had ever learned of it.
Scott is right, you know. The forced separation of a father from his children is unnatural and against God's will. Even the worst criminals and greatest sinners are given the right to see their children, even if it is from behind bars or a fence.
Uh-huh. So what do you think we should do, Pastor Michael?
Well, Commander, offspring cannot see their father if they no longer had one.
I see. Well, Pastor Michael, let's move on to other subjects. How's the quality of the food lately? Has there been any requests? More fruits, more vegetables, more McDonald's hamburgers? How about the roof on your church? How's it holding out? Agent Jeffers speaking.
Agent Jeffers, this is Detective Bannerman. I understand your DC fingerprint check found a match with an Army nurse named Caroline Jennings, and you traced her to San Francisco General. So how did things go down there today?
Pretty good, Detective Bannerman. The hospital gave us a nice copy of the prints of all their recent nurses. So I made a comparison right here in the office, and I found a match to one of the prints retrieved from the bathroom.
That's great news.
I got lucky. I want you to find everything you can on a nurse named Sally Umfried. Single, strawberry blonde hair, age 24, and I got a current address. But first, see if you can find anything that might make me want to pay her a little visit. Get back to me as soon as you can. If that doesn't lead anywhere, then I will get prints of all the hospital employees and send them back to DC.
Sally Unfreed. Okay, Agent Jeffers. I will do that.
Burwell speaking.
This is General Latowski speaking. I just got off the phone with Commander Dallas Brinkley of the Kalalua Papa Project. Do you know of whom I am referring?
Of course.
After a very lengthy and thorough discussion and debate with Commander Brinkley and other top-level government officials, I have been directed to initiate contingency plan 1 Foxtrot Alpha Kilo Echo of the Kalalua Project. This is a top-level, top-secret government directive, and you are ordered to execute this plan according to written guidelines put forth in the plan. You have been relieved of any responsibility for these actions in accordance with the laws that protect all CIA and special government agents. Please review these guidelines and execute contingency plan 1 Foxtrot Alpha Kilo Echo immediately. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I do.
And Burwell.
Yes, General.
Don't fuck it up. Agent Jeffers speaking.
Tom, this is Bannerman. I got a hold of all the records that we have on Sally Unfreed. There is not a lot here,
Well, it was worth a try.
But there was this one thing, and it may just turn out to be a biggie.
Yes, go ahead.
She was arrested last week for misdemeanor breaking and entering of some abandoned buildings down at the Navy docks. And guess what else?
Go ahead.
She was arrested, along with our friend, Detective Woodrow Jackson.
Is that right? Do you mean they were accomplices?
That is correct. Cohorts in misdemeanor crimes.
Well, Detective Bannerman, I don't know what to think of that. How could that possibly be related to the murders at Baker and Prentice Streets? Or the Rudy Beckman case? I need some time to digest this. Thanks for the info, Detective Bannerman. Talk to you soon.
You bet.
Emily, go now. Get to my office and get your IDs. You know where they are hidden. Angela is not here. She is at the beach house. Leave the campus now. But do not go to the beach house. Do you have someplace off campus that you can go to? Someplace where you can hide?
Yes, Father. I think so.
Go now. Run. I will find you. Gentlemen, is there anything I can help you with? Any particular book or magazine that you are looking for? Science fiction, adventure, mystery? Or are you just looking for me?
You know, the guidelines. No guns. No blood.
Just a minute.
Where's my bathrobe? Don't get excited. I'm coming.